Welcome, dear students. Today, in the new chapter, Emerging Modes of Business, I welcome all of you to watch and learn more about the modern trends in business era. So, welcome all of you students. We are going to learn more about the new trends in or emerging modes in our modern business world. So, first of all, we have to learn more about what is the changes happened in our business field due to the digitalization and a lot of technological advancement. Digitalization, outsourcing, internationalization, and globalization. Lot of changes have been happened in the business field. And in this chapter, we are going to learn about the concept of e-business. What is the relationship of e-business with the e-commerce? What are the benefits of e-business? How we can make online transactions? How we can conduct online business? What are the benefits of online transactions? Then, what is the concept of business process outsourcing? So, that's all. We are going to learn first what is the concept of e-business. Remember, due to the digitalization or electronification, business, the concept of business is changed into digital. You know very well, the common term business includes industry, the production part, trade, the buying and selling of goods, and commerce. But the concept of e-business, it is the same, but doing all these activities, industry, trade, and commerce with the support of computer, then it is known as e-business. E-business may be defined as the conduct of business using computer networks. Conduct of business using computer networks. Remember the term, what is e-business? Then what are the different concepts related to e-business? There we can create a lot of benefits: online payments, online auctions, online buying and selling, online information passage, online catalogs. Lots of benefits are there in e-business. We can use different tools for the benefits of e-business. What is the difference between e-commerce and e-business? Let's look at this. Actually, e-commerce is only a part of e-business. Already we discussed in the meaning. Business involves trade, industry, and commerce. E-business also involves trade, industry, and commerce with the support of electronic media. So, e-commerce is only a part of e-business. E-business is a broad term where e-commerce includes. E-business, we can say e-commerce plus supply chain management plus customer relationship management plus business intelligence plus enterprise resource planning plus knowledge management. So we can say e-commerce is only a part of e-business. And the first organization, IBM, introduced the term e-business in the year 1997. So remember the difference between e-business and e-commerce. So we are going to learn what are the benefits of e-business. So the first one is improved accuracy, quality, and time required for updating and delivering information on product and services. It improves e-business improves the accuracy, quality, and time required for delivering information on product. Always it makes speed up. Then access for customers to catalog and price 24 hours and 7 days. Every time 365 days they are getting the access of all the catalogs of online platforms. Then improved ease and speed of customers ordering. We can make the orders very quickly. Then enhanced market, industry or competitor intelligence acquired through information gathering and research activities. We will learn in other outsourcing, knowledge outsourcing. There we learn in detail what is this. So e-business enhances the marketing area or marketing of product, the production area, industrial area, and the competitors area very quickly. And also new distribution channels via electronic delivery of some products and services. Lot of marketing channels are emerged with the support of e-business in electronic mode. You know very well Amazon and Snapdeal. Lots of platforms are there. Then expansion of customers base and growth in export opportunities. Customers are getting more opportunity in the exporting product. Then it reduces routine administrative tasks, freeing staff to focus on more strategic activities. Why? Because the electronification reduced the administrative task into lower level. They can use computer for recording all these transactions very easily and quickly by saving their time and energy. So these are all the benefits of e-business. Please read all the points again and again. So it is very essential for the exams also. Then we have to learn what is the scope of e-business. Actually, now it is one of the important element in everyone's day-to-day life. Without e-business, we can't survive. A common man who have the ability to use the electronic platforms can easily access all the areas of e-commerce. So it is very essential in the business field. Some e-commerce transactions are there, e-business transactions are there. That is B2B transaction, B2C transaction, B2G transaction, and B2E transaction. So, what is B2B transaction? When the transaction is taking place between the business and business, then it is known as B2B transaction. When the transactions are maybe a product or information, whatever it may be, taken place between business and business, to business organization in electronic mode, then it is known as business to business transaction. Then what is B2C transaction? Here, the business to customer transaction is going on when the transaction taking place between business and individual customers through the electronic platforms, that is known as B2C transaction. It includes online order, then electronic payment, consumer seeking information, clarification of price, etc. So remember, all these things are practically experienced by all of you. Then B2G transaction. Here also, transaction taking place between business and government through the electronic platforms, obtaining license from the government for business transaction. Payment of tax through the government e-portals are examples for business to government transaction. All these things are done very easily through electronic websites, gadgets. Then what is B2E transaction? Transaction taking place between business and employees. Business peoples using online platforms, ads for paying salary to the workers and collecting suggestions from employees, etc. So B2B, B2C, B2G, and B2E transactions are there through electronic modes of transactions. So remember, all these type of transactions are very easily undertaken through the support of electronic business with the support of electronic gadgets. So remember, these are the basic concepts related to what is e-business and what are the benefits and how the transactions are going on in business through electronic platforms. Hope the idea is very clear for you. Thank you for watching the video. So discuss all the points and create your own idea. Thank you. Dear students, In the next video lesson from the chapter Emerging Modes of Business, you are going to learn about what are the different benefits of e-business. So in the first video lesson, you had learned about what are the different concepts regarding e-business, how it is related to e-commerce like that. So you have to develop more about what are the benefits of e-business. In e-business, mainly the business organization, consumer and the societies are benefited. Remember, we are going to learn in detail what is the benefit of e-business towards organization, consumers and society. So first of all, we have to learn what is the benefit of e-business towards a business organization. So the first one is it provides international marketplaces. E-business provides international marketplaces. Suppose I can also sell if I have quality product to America or any other foreign countries. And the operational cost savings, every time operational cost can be saved by the organization through online marketing. Normally, these operational costs will be very high in the form of traditional business. Then mass customization, lack of crores of people, millions of people will watch our product through online media. So mass customization, lots of customers will be available. Then it enables reduced inventories and overheads by facilitating full type supply chain management. So no need to keep inventory by the sellers. From the production place itself, they can distribute the product. Then lower telecommunication cost. Normally, informing the public about the new product is heavy, but through the e-business, it can be reduced. The telecommunication cost can be reduced. Then digitalization of products and processes. Every process or product will be digitalized. We can view a product size, quality, and features through the images, that is digitalization. Then no more time constraints. Every time e-business serves time for the business organization. So these are the benefits for a business organization if they are doing business electronically. Then what about the opportunity for the consumers? They are getting 24 into 7 some time or period access every time, 24 hours and 7 days in a week. They are getting opportunity to access the online business platform. Then lot of varieties are available, more choices are there. They can choose any product from of different companies, and consumers or the customers can compare the price of the product through the online platforms and improve the delivery process. No need to go to market. The product will reach into our home directly after placing the order. And an environment of competition where substantial discounts can be found. We can save money. We can save money if you are using online platforms. Sometimes we will get discount. Sometimes there will be a refund of money also. So these are the benefit for the consumers through e-business. And for the society, what is the benefit? It enables more flexible working practices. So e-wastage. So a lot of benefits are there for the society through e-business. First one is enables more flexible working practices. Flexible means the business people can very relaxingly do their business practices. Why? Because they are getting global opportunities. And the society people is also getting more opportunity to access the product of different customers, different producers. And always all these digital platforms connects people of different area, different locality, different region. Then it facilitates Delivery of public services. Lot of e-business provides lot of public services. Sometimes it will be in free of cost and sometimes it will be after charging some prices. So remember, these are the different benefits for the society through e-commerce. So we have to learn what is the difference between the e-business and traditional business. Is there any difference? So the first constraint or the criteria for the difference is establishment. It is very difficult to establish e-commerce licensing and lot of formalities are there. But traditional business is very easy. And what about the setting up cost, the starting cost, the initial investment? But it is very low in e-commerce. Traditional business requires huge amount of capital. It is very high. Operating cost is very low in e-commerce, but it is very high in traditional form of business. Operating cost, operating expenses are very huge in traditional form of business. Then element of personal touch is very low in e-commerce. Why? Because there is no direct contact between the buyer and the seller, but there will be high personal relationship between the seller and buyer in traditional business. Then physical testing and examination of product, its quality, it is not possible. Checking of all these not possible in e-commerce, but it is possible in traditional business. Then time delay. E-commerce, it gives products in less time. There is no more time delay, but it is more in traditional business. Business expansion very much possible in e-commerce. I think only a single website or online application is needed to expand their business, and they can bring variety of products. But it is not possible. It is not easy. It is difficult in traditional business. The expansion it requires a lot of legal formalities, and the intermediaries is not required in e-business, but it is required in traditional business. So remember what is the difference between e-business and the traditional business. And we have learned a lot of benefits, but we have to think about the limitations of e-business also. Limitations of e-business. Low personal touch is there in e-business. There will be no or limited level of buyer-seller relationship or contact. Then it is inconcurrence between order taking, giving, and order fulfillment speed. There will be delay between the order taking and the order fulfillment speed in e-business. Lot of experience you have if you go through the online platforms. Then it requires technology and competency for both the parties in business. Buyer and seller requires technical capability and competencies. Then increased risk is there due to the anonymity and non-traceability of parties concerned. We are not watching the face of the seller or we are not watching the face of the buyer. No identity is there. Without that, we are distributing the products, buying and selling the product. And there is a lot of access limitation for customers in the e-business. Why? Because sometimes we have to pay and log in websites sometimes that, and a lot of conflicting laws are there related to e-business dealings. Then constant evolution of software tools is another limitation we have to develop as a consumer or the seller. We have to develop updated in all these things. Then no scope for checking quality of a product. There is no scope for checking the quality of a product directly. Only after reaching into our hands, then only we can check the quality. Okay, so these are the limitations of e-business. Remember the concepts regarding what are the benefits of e-business and what is the difference between e-business and traditional business. Then what is the disadvantages of e-business. Hope the ideas are very clear for you. So thank you for watching. Watch the video again and again. Develop your own concepts. Thank you. Welcome dear students. The third video lesson from the chapter Emerging Modes of Business. is related to online transactions. I think it is a day-to-day life related factor. Without online transactions, we can't live. We are using at least minimum Google Pay or Paytm for mobile recharge and for purchasing and buying of different products from the websites. So here we are going to learn what is online transaction and what are the different needs for online transactions. Okay, so what is online transaction? When we are doing something with the support of online platforms, for example, buying or selling products, that is known as online transaction. Online transaction means receiving information about goods, placing an order, receiving delivery and making payment through the medium of internet. So remember, with the support of internet, we are collecting the information about the goods, placing an order in front of the seller, receiving the delivery of the products and making payment. And under this system, the sale, purchase of every type of things, information and service is possible. So with the support of all these internet facility, we are using it for satisfying our day-to-day needs. So remember what we have to do for accessing the online website. So first of all, we have to register. We have to register our name in the particular website. So whenever, suppose when we are login Amazon, any other platforms, we have to give information, valid information about us, including email ID, mobile phone, number, etc. So we have to give the information and to obtain one password for personal purpose. So only after registration we can log in into the particular account of the website. And then what we have to do? After login into the account, we can place the order. So placing the order is the next step, which includes we are verifying the information for for which the product we are going to purchase. And after collecting the information from various sellers, we will check it and place the order. Then after that, we can do two types of delivery of payment of the product purchased through the online platform. We can use cash on delivery or check on delivery, and net banking transfer system is there, credit card facility is there, debit card facility is there. Also we can use digital cash, Bitcoin or any other online apps we can use for making the payment of the product. So simple steps, registration or login into the account, then we have to place the order. We can collect the product either paying the amount in advance or at the time of delivery. So remember, these are the things related to online transaction. Then we are always afraid of the security and safety of these type of transactions. So we have to make another concepts regarding how much it is secured, how much it is secured, and what are the element of risk involved in e-business transaction. First of all is default on order taking or giving. Default or on order taking or giving the product to the customers. So there will be some delay from the part of the seller, that or sometimes the order placing by the customer will make the denial of the order. Sometimes the seller will deny, sometimes the customer will deny the order. So that is one form of risk involved in e-business. Denial on the part of the seller that the customer ever placed the order, or on the part of the customer that he ever placed the order. Sometimes after selling the product, or selling means after placing the order, the seller will distribute to the customer. But after watching the customer, he will return. That is one of the risks. Then default in delivery. Sometimes there will be message not delivered, delivered at wrong address, or wrong goods delivered. These type of negative comments will be there related to e-business. Not sometimes they will not, the agency not delivered the product. Sometimes they will wrongly send the product to a different address. So these type of negative aspects are there. Then default in payment, default in online payment. It includes the claims that either payment not received by the seller or customer claims that payment was made. Seller will say, I didn't receive the payment, so I will never send the order. Sometimes the payment will be made by the customer, but seller will deny. Also, customer claims that I made the payment, you have to give me the product. So these are all the risks. Again, data storage and transmission risk is there. Data storage and transmission risk is there. Most probably, all the data related to business transactions are recorded in servers with high definition safety and security. But there is a possibility of hacking all these information with the support of hackers. So sometimes we feel insecurity to store all these transactions. So remember, it is yet another business risk involved in e-business. The data storage and the transmission risk. Virus programs are also affected. There is a possibility of loss of data stored in the computer. So remember, sometimes we can use cryptography for protecting our data. Cryptography. Then another thing we have to remember, risk of threat to intellectual property and privacy. Remember, internet is kept open to all. You know very well. It is easily accessible one. When an information is available over net, it moves out of the private domain. Everyone will modify the idea brought by one person. They will mold it and they make them their own. So remember, this type of risk is there in e-business. Remember the concept. So these are the some factors related to e-business risk. Then the next area, what is required in these type of e-business dealings? So resources required for a successful e-business implementation include a person with adequate computer awareness, also adequate computer hardware. Lot of data we have to store, so we have to keep a good quality computer. Then technically qualified workforce, a person with a technically qualified who can handle all the grievances of customers, clear the clarification of customers, make the data perfect. That type of workforce is needed. Then, system of receiving payments. A best way of safe receiving payment system is needed. Then, a well-designed website which includes all the information related to the business or the product. Then, a good, effective telecommunication system to interact between customer and the seller. So remember, all these things are needed for effective online business transaction. Hope all the areas are very clear related to the concept online business transaction. In the next topic, we will learn about what is outsourcing and how much it is beneficial for our business. Thank you. Thank you for watching my video lesson. Then develop your own concept watching the video again and again. Thank you. Dear students, in the last video lesson from the chapter Emerging Modes of Business, you are going to learn and develop concepts regarding what is outsourcing and how it is beneficial for the business sector. So we have to learn what is the concept of BPO and KPO. First one is outsourcing and business process outsourcing. Every business field is very dynamic and fast moving with the aim of earning maximum profit. So they have to depend maximum concentration on the core activities in the business, especially related to production and the distribution of business products. At that time, they can't look on the subsidiary activities, non-core activities related to the business, which will never give direct influence on the business activities. So every business firm who is able to pay a good amount of compensation can use some outside agencies support, mainly maybe for example the transportation of employees in a business organization or cleaning the floors in a business area, lift operators, security guards are examples for outsourcing agencies. Lot of other services are there. We will learn in detail. Before that, what is BPO? Business activities are fast changing in the dynamic world you know very well. The last decade, a new concept has evolved in the business era, that is BPO. It is nothing else. It is a system of getting a business activity accomplished through an outside agency. Accomplished through an outside agency. An outside agency will help the business people to complete the non-core business activities. So examples are here: transportation of raw materials from one factory to the production place, then transportation of workers from the canteen, then recruitment of employees from the recruiting agency are examples. So we have to develop more about why it is needed in business area, why business process outsourcing is needed. Remember the term process outsourcing. Some activities are given for the outside agency, nothing else. Why it is? Because due to the demanding product by variety of customers, and sometimes the product needs more quality. At that time, business can concentrate only in quality of the product at fair prices. They will never give much importance for the non-core activities. Then also, in order to coping with the new technologies of production, they have to bring the changes with the help of outsourcing agencies. So whenever there is a new production technology is available, they have to depend on the outside agency for giving training and to for the installation of machine also. So remember, some benefits are there for the outsourcing process. Every time it helps to improve companies' focus on the core activity. Also, it helps for reducing the operating expenses and it helps for improving the quality of the products and it provides an opportunity to access the expertise, expert people's assistance. Then world class technologies can be brought into the production area. Always outsourcing helps to beat the competition with the other business people. So remember the benefits. We will discuss the same points in the advantages area also. So remember that points of benefits. The same is here. What is the advantage of outsourcing the non-core activities? First one is it enables the business to concentrate on areas in which it has core competency is needed. So it enables outsourcing of non-core activities, helps the business to concentrate only on the important activities. Outsourcing agencies are specialized in their fields, so better quality will be given for the business organization. Then it can obtain the service. It can obtain the services provided by outsourcing agencies at lower cost. Then it can get the advices of the experts from the outsourcing agencies. Then it reduces the labor problem in the organization. Labor turnover can be reduced. So a lot of advantages are there for business outsourcing. So what are the core outsourcing services? Financial services, advertising services, courier services is there, then customer support services are also there. So remember, these are all the core outsourcing services. Then what is KPO? Another improvement and supporting concept for the business, that is KPO. Knowledge process outsourcing. Here, the valid information is collected with the support of outsourcing agencies. KPO refers to obtaining high-end knowledge from outside agencies in order to run the business successfully and with the maximum cost-effective manner. Here, the business is getting knowledge expertise from the outsourcing field. It may be in different forms like it may be in different forms like research and technical analysis, business and technical analysis, business and market research, animation and design. So in these all forms, business is getting support like KPO, knowledge process outsourcing. So remember what is the concept of knowledge process outsourcing. Very important for the running of the organization. So thank you for watching the videos in the chapter emerging forms of business. Remember, it is very essential for your future also emerging modes of business. So develop your own concept and watch the videos again and again. Thank you.